Hey everyone, Dana here. I already made a video on some German superstitions that don't exist in the US, so now here are some common American superstitions. Now, from my experience, I don't believe that these superstitions are done in Germany, so I thought it would be helpful for understanding why some Americans are doing these things. But if it turns out that some of these are done in Germany, please let me know in the comments. Thank you. In English, the word jinx can mean to bring bad luck, or verhexen in German. In the US, if two people coincidentally say the same word at the same time, the person who is first to yell jinx stops themselves from getting the bad luck by putting that bad luck onto the other person. But then there are a few different variations of this that I've heard of. Some people just say jinx. But then there's also jinx, you owe me something. Like they say, jinx, you owe me a soda. Or there's also jinx, you're not allowed to talk until somebody says your name. Is there anything like this done here in Germany? In the US, we also have a whole day dedicated to another superstition. It's called Groundhog Day. It's on February 2nd, and on that day, we watch a cute little groundhog emerge out of its burrow. And the way the superstition goes, if it's a sunny day and the groundhog sees its shadow and gets all freaked out and runs back into its home, then that means that it'll be 6 more weeks of winter. If not, spring will come early that year. And actually, this tradition, I learned, got started by German settlers in Pennsylvania. So I figured that it must be something done in Germany too. But when I tried looking that up, I just kept finding German articles about the American tradition of Groundhog Day and how it's an American thing. So I guess it doesn't exist in Germany? But anyway, it got started by German settlers in the US. A huge superstition in the US is that it's bad luck to open an umbrella inside. Now, while researching for this video, I saw sources claiming that this is also a superstition in Germany. But if it is, well, then from what I've seen, nobody seems to care about it at all, because I see umbrellas being opened inside all over the place here. And here's the crazy thing about superstitions. I usually consider myself to be a pretty rational thinking person, but superstitions just have a way of getting ingrained inside of you so that, well, at least for me, I didn't even realize how irrational the umbrella superstition was until I was confronted with it here in Germany. One rainy day, shortly after I moved to Germany, Mr. German Man opened the umbrella inside before heading out, and my face, it just instinctively flushed red hot, and I was like, "What are you doing?" And he just looked at me. "It's raining." "I know, but you're not supposed to open the umbrella until you get outside." "Why?" "Because it's bad luck." "I don't know why." "Huh." After that, I started really noticing that people here in Germany seem, for the most part, to have no problem opening the umbrella inside before going out into the rain, or opening the umbrella inside afterwards to let it dry off after coming in from the rain. So that's why I thought that this superstition just didn't exist here. Or is it just like it exists, but in the end, nobody really cares about it? So I'd like to hear from you. Have you heard of this superstition before? Does this superstition exist in Germany? Another superstition in the US is holding your breath when you go past a cemetery. The superstition goes that if you breathe while passing a cemetery, you could risk inhaling the spirits of the dead, which sounds absolutely terrifying. Although this is not a superstition that I really took part in, I definitely did hear of people holding their breath every time they drove past a cemetery, and also lifting their feet every time they drove over railroad tracks, which is another superstition in the US, that you've got to lift up your feet when going over the train tracks. Do tram tracks count for that too? If so, I hope that this is not a superstition in Germany because, well, at least here in Munich, there are a lot of tram tracks to drive over around town. So my question for you is, do you have any of these or similar superstitions where you live? And what's the most interesting superstition you've ever heard of around the world? Please let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. And also a big thank you so much to our patrons on Patreon who help make these videos possible. Thank you so much for your support. If you would like to check out our Patreon page, you can find a link to that down in the description box below. Until next time, auf Wiedersehen. Have you heard of this superstition? But if it turns out that some of these superstitions, I already made a video on German superstitions. I was like, the emphasis on completely the wrong words.